Buddy. Good afternoon, London! You guys ready to make some money, yes or no? All right, wow. Look how many pairs of eyes there are. Eek! Where do I start? So let me tell you a little bit about who I am before we get going. First of all, quick show of hands. How many people are here because they want to dramatically change their financial position? Quick show of hands. How many people are really serious about it? Say yes! Okay, good. Then what I do is the following. I teach people just like you how to make an immediate income trading the currency markets. In my experience, and certainly my opinion, it's the fastest way to get rich. How many people are here because you don't just want to make a decent income, you just quite unashamedly, you want to get rich? Let me hear a yes. Okay, then this is what we do. I'm going to give you a quick brief intro into who I am and what I do. I run an organization here, as Scott said, in London. We run a large trading floor in London, and we teach people like you how to actively trade the currency markets. And what I've found is the fastest way to do that is not by teaching you everything there is to do with the financial markets, because it's practically impossible. The quickest way to get you successful producing a decent income is to keep it really simple and to get you doing it. And I did it over 15 years ago myself. I was a little IT guy on a trading floor, and I learned from some of the best traders in the world not how to understand the financial markets. That's practically impossible. But by executing on two things, what to do, and most importantly, when to do it. There's a couple of things that happen every day, and if you know what to look for and then how to put it into practice, you too can make a great income doing that. And I've now taught something like close to 100,000 people around the world. I speak on stage all over the world now doing this, and we run a foundation off all of the trading results to do exactly that. And we have a trading floor in Sydney, Australia, where we do the same thing. Today, I'm going to talk exclusively about how to trade the foreign exchange markets and produce a decent income. How many people would like to understand how to do it in about 90 minutes? Yes or no? Good. So I'm going to jump into content as quickly as possible. I'm going to tell you something. When I was 27 years old, I left the trading world. I set up a trading screen at home. In fact, I set up 8 trading screens at home. And I started actively trading the currency markets on the European session from 5:45 in the morning to about 11:45. And 2 important things happened. Number 1, I made a lot of money. And number 2, I got pretty fat. In fact, I used to trade from 5:45 to 11. The only exercise I got was from the trading screen to the fridge and back. And then by midday, I'd be down the pub drinking beers with friends and generally hanging out for the rest of the day. And people used to say to me, "What did you do for the day?" And I said, "Well, I've just been trading the currency markets." And I said, "What did you do?" And they'd say, "Well, I've just been decorating your neighbor's house." And they'd say, "How much money did you make today?" And I'd say, £25,000. And they'd go, "Bugger off." And I'd say, "Well, you better come and have a look." And from there, I used to drag people to my house and trade live with them and show them what could be done. And I've certainly found, since I've been in this industry, showing people how to do the same thing, unless you do it live with people, they don't really believe it's true. And so what I want to do in this session with you is I want to show you some live trades so you can see how it happens, see how much money can be made, and see how a little lad who was 27 years old at the time went on to make an extraordinary amount of money and then went on to set up 2 of the most successful trading floors within the next 6 years. Would you guys be up for that? Yes or no? First thing I learned was, please write this down. You guys got pens and paper? Lots of notes today. The first thing I learned is any training course you do without belief built in is going to be a waste of your time. So my job here today in the next 90 minutes is to build some belief in you that you can make yourselves a fortune trading the currency markets. If I don't do that, I haven't done my job. Does that make sense to everybody? Yes or no? Okay. How many people here, by show of hands, think within the next 3 years you could become a millionaire trading the currency markets? Let me see by show of hands. Okay, so that's most of the room. And that's interesting. You believe you could be a millionaire trading the currency markets. Same question, or slightly different question now. How many of you are actually doing it today? Okay, very few, so maybe 1 or 2% of the room. And the difference between that I discovered was the following. People think that they believe they could be it, but the truth of the matter is they don't truly believe it. And I learned by working in the States a few years ago with a guy called Bob Dilt that actually there's a cycle that's set up, and there's a belief cycle that is set up, and it starts like this. Whatever the original belief immediately impacts the amount of action you take. Please write this down. Impacts the leverage of your resources, which then impacts the results. And finally, and most importantly, this feeds back into the original belief. And here's the rub I learned, is that people think they believe in their ability to be successful in something. But that's just really the thought. It's not true belief. And true belief really comes from what's happening around you, what's real. And I realize that most people think they can be successful in say, this area in trading the currency markets, but unless the people around, unless they're in an environment where that's happening, the real belief is not there. And so what I've discovered, the quickest way to get people successful is two things. Number one, don't even try and teach people how to understand the financial markets. It's practically impossible in a short space of time. Show them what to do, show them when to do it. So please write that down. What to do, when to do it. Two things, quickly. And then the last thing they need to do is they have to see it real. They actually have to see somebody doing it live. They actually need to watch you, so the belief is built in their own experience. You know, what they say is your references, what's around you is what builds your belief. Many people in this room today have family members, friends, brothers, sisters who have all invested in the property markets. That's why we still buy and sell property. But very few of you in this room today will have friends who have made themselves millionaires in the currency market. So whilst you might think you could be successful in the currency markets, the question you've got to ask, are you actually doing it? And the answer to that question for most people is invariably no. And the reason it's no is because they're not in an environment where they're doing it. So there's not a lot of action taking place. The resources leveraged is really your time and your money. How much of it are you really putting into it? And then ultimately, what are the results like? Follow the cycle round. It starts here. Yeah, I think I could be successful doing this. The amount of action, well, I'll go along and maybe read a couple of books, try a couple of different things. The resources leverage, my time and my money. Yeah, I'll put a little bit into it. Results, awful. Feedback to the belief, yeah, probably not for me, probably doesn't work. Take an opposite person in a completely different environment. When I was a kid as an IT guy on a trading floor, 36 people, roughly my age, maybe a few years older, all of them trading successfully the currency market. My belief was it possible? Christ, I was watching guys and girls who were 5 years older than me making what I was making in a year every 5 days. Did that increase my belief of what was possible? Yes or no? Yes. Did it increase the amount of action I took? I took all my money out and threw it into a trading account. Did that increase that? Yes or no? The amount of action I took then impacted the time and the money I put into it. It was everything. The results were extraordinarily surprising. And of course, that fed the belief cycle and it went off in a different direction. So, the challenge is I have to get that across to you in 90 minutes. Can we do it? Yes or no?